So once again, my name is Andre and I'll be hosting this event. And today we have Maxim Borisik, who is a lead, who is a product lead at Adapty and who's basically building the Autopilot product. And today we're gonna talk about on how to grow 30% without the pain of A/B testing. And Maxim is gonna share some insights and some secrets about this. And just a reminder, so this webinar is being recorded, and tomorrow like all of you attendees, will have a recording of this webinar. So guys, don't worry if you miss something, it's okay. And after the webinar, we're gonna have a Q&A session. So if you guys have any questions, you can write them down in the chat and I'll be asking Maxim all of your questions. So if you have any questions, you can ask while the Maxim is talking, and then after that on the Q&A session, Maxim will be answering all the questions. So thank you, Maxim. The word goes to you.
Thank you, Andre. Thank you for making the presentation and for talking about what we're going to do today. And I'd love to share a presentation just for us to have some visuals all together with the plan of our meeting. So what I want to talk today about is the potential that every app has. And actually, the easiest way to get the uplift in your app is making a lot of experiments, because even if you have product either good, either not that good, it's still be possible to get the uplift if you do the experimentation loop and do it constantly with a great discipline. And that's what I want to talk today about. But in the beginning, I want to give a little explanation for those who don't know or like forgot, or just a little reminder of what Adapty actually does. Adapty right now, I think, is a kind of like not only the subscription management platform, but something more. We now do everything starting from the base things like subscription and management of it, and going to analytics, to predictions, to like attribution things, to the Apple Search Ads things, and also for all the mechanics that help you make the experiments faster. It's the A/B testing, it's the payable builder, and all of the stuff connected with the data and the things that can make you grow. So our goal, our ultimate goal, is to make every mobile app grow faster than they can grow without us. So that's what we are trying to achieve. And one of the products we're going to talk today is connected to this. So just a quick reminder why we're like kind of eligible of doing some recommendations or making any advices to the mobile app owners, just because we have plenty of apps, 15,000 apps and more, and they're coming every month. And we have lots of paywalls inside of us. We have lots of subscriptions which are tracked within Adapty, and thus we have the data to get the understanding of what's good and what's not, to get some cases, to get some real insights on that. And that's why we're trying to use this and help others to grow even better. So the Autopilot product, we were talking a little bit in more details later, but now I just want to give you a better understanding of why experimentation is crucial if you're doing a mobile app, because I've talked with, I don't know, lots of apps, so I think close to 100 already, and there is a clean definition of those, whether who do experiments and do the A/B testing and those who don't. And the difference is very big. So in the beginning, once we were doing this kind of like analysis to understand, is it measurable to understand what's the difference between those who do experiment and for those who don't? And turned out that the difference between them is pretty big. So the apps which do lots of experiments, they usually see growth which is higher, not in percentages, but in time. So it can be really 5 or 10 or even more times bigger revenue compared to the apps who don't do experiments. And this is on the like very big amount of data, this information within apps in Adapty. But on a little bit like detailed level, recently I made a calculation about the apps inside of Adapty and found out that apps which do the A/B tests regularly, at least one per month, they have the higher MRR, and it's almost twice higher than with those who don't do the A/B test. So this is a very important process, and the first step is to really start doing that, to do the experimentation and just not to have one payable, one onboarding, one price setup for your app and don't touch it at all. You need to really make the experiments and try to find out what works the best. And like so far, our recommendation really is to have at least one live A/B test going all the time. So now I want to talk to you and tell you a little bit about how to do the experiments, because we found out that if you don't do it, it's bad, but you can also do it and do it not that efficient. So I want to tell you a little bit about the experimentation process itself. So what you should think about and which order I recommend to go to get the highest potential and the highest uplift. So the first step is to like set up a regular payable. So if we talk about a new app, for example, you just use and set up a great payable. You can use our payable builder templates or payable generator. So we have a great looking payable in the beginning, but then the important thing when you have your product ready and the app is functioning well and you have some traffic coming, you need to do the pricing experiments, because in the pricing, according to our data, there is a potential to get around 80% of uplift. If you do the pricing tests regularly, you can find the sweet spots in the pricing of each subscription you have for each duration, and the combination of the subscriptions and also the trials. So what you need to do is to really find the perfect balance, the perfect resulting result, and this will be a great option to get the easiest win in the beginning, just to find the best pricing. And we will talk more about how to do it properly. Then the visuals. So we have the payable set up in the beginning, but then when we found out the perfect pricing, we can now go to the visuals, and there is like the whole world to explore. You can make the visuals which are kind of like affecting how you present the prices, for example, right, with the free trial toggle or with the text which says that you need to buy the annual subscription, or you can go to the visual options more. For example, we know that videos work very well on the payable, right? So if you do have not a picture on the background, but the video, most likely the conversion will be way better. Same happening with the hard payables, for example, when you can remove the arrow and it is also working. Sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it works. And that's the idea of the experimentation, that you need to do it constantly and just to try to find the perfect payable of yours and just like have the whole backlog of ideas. And the third step, the most complex one, I'd say, and the step that not everyone is eligible for, is country pricing, because lots of apps, they have, let's say, 80 or 90% revenue coming from one country, and it means that it's not that optimal for them to go to, let's say, if they have, I don't know, 90% coming from states and 0.01% revenue coming from India, for example. It doesn't make much sense to try to tweak the prices in India, because if you have very small traffic, you just will have a very small result over there. That's why going to country pricing, I see it as a kind of like the last step of getting the uplifts, just because you need to be sure that your app is suitable for that. You need to be working good with your analytics, and only after that you can adjust the pricing and really get the uplift in there. So that's the like step-by-step flow, which we see as the most efficient one, as the most optimal one, and also it's kind of like verified with the hundreds of apps inside of Adapty, with the ones I talked to about how they do it and stuff, to get the biggest results. And going deeper into each of these points, let's now talk a little bit about the pricing test. So how to get the best pricing test result is to really make the make plenty of A/B tests with different price sets. So you can try the higher option of your like annual subscription or the higher option of your weekly subscription, or you can try out whether you want to use the weekly and yearly, or you want to remove yearly and add, let's say, be monthly or some like unusual subscriptions like really 3 months or even a lifetime. So you just need to try out lots of options and do it and not be scared that something will that you lose something, because even if the A/B test, the idea you had didn't win, you still have very important knowledge that, for example, this duration doesn't work for you, and you need to try out to find the best one among not this. And what you do is just you really launch the continuous amount of A/B tests. You see who's the winner. After understanding who is the winner, you launch a new A/B test, and you just make this like disciplined process one by one. And each time after the A/B test finishes, you just check the data, where the RPU is better, where the conversion rate is better, and make a decision on what's going next. So the process of changing the prices is finding the best option is to make it constantly and make it like a very disciplined way. And what I think the best option is to really understand how the market works. So you can set weekly for $10, but if you know that your competitors are doing it for 6 or for 5, you have to really critically understand whether is your product that good that they can charge $10 per week, or you really need to adjust it and make it lower just to be in the market, so the users will buy your subscription with the higher potential, with the higher chance. So you need to really understand the competitors and get their monetization strategy, what are their durations, the trials, the prices they're having, and also check the paywalls they use. It's more complicated to check the paywalls, but it's also a good way just to really get the idea of how they operate. What are their mechanics? Do they use some dark patterns or they don't? And all of these things. So checking the competitors and understanding the market is essential to get the good direction of your pricing A/B testing. And regarding the visuals, there is, let's say, a bunch of things that you definitely need to try. The ones I already like named a couple of times, so like the trial toggle or the close button. But also the reviews option is something that works very well for some apps. So when you can add some social proof in that and say that, okay, we have users who already approved the app and they're saying that it's working well, and the reviews are personalized. It works pretty good usually. And also, for example, it's not attached here, but you can also try out the timer thing when on the paywall there is a countdown of like 5 minutes or like 3 minutes saying that you need to buy, otherwise this price will disappear. So that's something very important to do. And the visual test is something that you really need to try. As also, as I said, you can try the photo versus video. You can try the hard paywall versus regular one. You can try the short paywall versus the long paywall when you scroll it. So there is lots of options, and I think this amount of A/B tests it's at least a quarter of experimentation, because there is really a lot of things to test. And when you get the pricing, you just really, with the correct pricing, you really try to find the best visual test, and with this like process, you understand what's your like winner, what's your best result for your app. And then the third step we were discussing is the country-based pricing. And this is a complex one, as I've told you, but actually this is a very important one. And I think the step one here is to really understand where are your users coming from and where they are paying from. If it's only the US, okay, it makes an easier situation for you, just because you can tweak prices only in the US and it will like cover most of it. But if you have, for example, lots of customers coming from Europe or from, let's say, Asia, or from even Africa, there is a lot of like options for that. For example, now I see lots of apps who are having many revenue coming from MENA region, so Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and all this stuff. Like 70%, 80% of their revenue is coming from these countries, and that's also you should be aware of that for such countries, their pricing should be adjusted pretty well, and that's why in Adapty we recently launched the pricing index. So we analyzed lots of data inside of Adapty, and we just kind of like make a graph, the analytics of how much price how price differs between the countries. If, for example, we take the States as the like 100%, then you see that in the Netherlands, for example, it will be like, if I'm not mistaken, 170%. So you really need to increase the price heavily for such country, while on the other hand, in the like countries in Asia, for example, you need to make them lower, like 70% or 80% of the US price. So this is something where you need to be very careful and not to make lots of mistakes, but there is also some potential to get this result if you use the pricing index and you know that you have a lot of customers from the other countries. And that's the like overall idea of what to do and which steps I recommend to go to get the great results in the A/B testing. And you shouldn't be like scared of it. It's a totally normal process. All the big apps I'm talking with the 100K of MRR, 500K, 500,000K of MRR, they're all having this process either finalized or either in progress at the moment. And they all do starting with the prices and visuals and then geo pricing. So yeah, you also have to do it because that's very important for unlocking your uplift for your revenue. And also connected with the geo pricing, it's important not to forget to localize your paywalls for the countries and also personalize them too. Luckily, our paywall builder helps with that, and you can do the like localization in a couple of clicks. But actually, yeah, if you go to the other countries, or you know that, for example, a lot of users are coming from the MENA region, you definitely need to translate the paywall, translate the app, because the more personalization you have, the better. And also the paywalls can be personalized not only with the language, but also with the visuals too. So as you can see here, there is like also an idea of the colors and all the stuff, of the background of the paywall. So yeah, that's also you should definitely try. And the personalization is a very great thing to increase and improve the conversions. And on the A/B testing as a whole, what is important when you're doing it and when you're stopping it, especially, is to always get the enough amount of information, because a lot of apps, they're starting the A/B test, wait for 2 days, then stop it. They see, let's say, I don't know, 10 purchases, and they make decisions based on these 10 purchases. Math is against this, right? Because you need to get this statistical significance. Otherwise, it's very hard to trust these results. And that's why our recommendation is to get at least 200 subscriptions per variant in A/B test. I know that's a lot. I know that for many apps, it may take 3, 4 weeks, but that's okay. Just because if you're having a very bad result on the low data, you can just make a wrong decision. Just because if you are suggesting, for example, a yearly and a weekly option, and a couple of users, they buy the yearly subscription, and then on the variant B, everybody bought the weekly, for sure the revenue will be higher in the variant A. But it doesn't mean that it's winning. You need to really get the great data set for make the great decision. So here you're really not to be stopping it immediately. Just wait at least 2 weeks and try to get 200 subscriptions per option. It will give you the best result and the best picture, rather than like stopping it every 2 days and make the unclear decisions after that. So that's my advice on that. Not stop it immediately. Make sure that it has reached a great result, so you can proceed with that and really reuse it afterwards. What else on the A/B testing? Really, as I've said already, keep at least one A/B test running. That's very important. Then, yeah, clean baseline data, the one we just recently talked. if you have lots of placement, many apps with lots of feature inside usually have lots of placement. So not the onboarding placement brings a lot of revenue, but like 5 or 7 placement across the app, they are distributed more or less equal, and the users are buying on this placement. So for this reason, we've built the cross-placement A/B tests, and you can really launch the cross-placement A/B when it's relevant and make sure that you get all the results over there. So it's very important to make sure that your users, they don't see different prices, and that the setting of the A/B test is easy for you, just because to make it constant, to make this process like constant and regular, you really need to have like the launch of A/B tests in, I don't know, in an hour or maybe like less than an hour, to make it fast, to make it not a pain point for you. So that's why we try to like provide the solutions of making the A/B testing easier. And if you have lots of placement, cross placement A/B tests should help you. And yeah, the last one is to update the pricing regularly, because I've met a couple of clients and they were telling me that they are pretty sure that their combination of products is the best, just because they made these tests 3 years ago. So 3 years ago, once they launched a couple of A/B tests and understood that the year and months and year works perfectly fine for them. And after that, they didn't change it at all. But for the 3 years, the market has changed, the benchmark has changed, the way the user thinks also has changed. And that's why it's very essential to update the pricing regularly every year. Even every year is a pretty big distance. You need to do it, I would say, every half a year, and make sure that you're in the market, check the competitors, understand what's happening and all the stuff. So make sure that you really do it. And if you change the prices more than 6 months ago, now it's the perfect time to think that maybe you need to adjust it and to make new pricing and to try out something new, and not be scared that you can lose something, just because the experimentation is all about making the decisions and making the conclusions, right? So if something lost, it's good, that it means that you're in the market. But if, for example, you have changed something and it grew, it means that you found a new opportunity to grow, and you really need to use it and go this direction. So do not be scared of changing the pricing regularly. And the last piece before we proceed to the Autopilot and the new product I wanted to tell you about is the reasoning of why we built it initially. Because I've talked to many users and tried to understand how they experiment at the moment. And there were, I would say, a couple of issues. And the first of it was that we don't know what to test. We have some ideas. We see something in LinkedIn. We see something in the in the reports. We see something from the community, but we don't know whether is this a good idea or it's not. Should we do it or we shouldn't? And the first issue is that really they didn't have like much ideation of what to do at the moment, while they had like plenty of ideas. And the second is that it's very hard to set up an A/B test. Really, you need to create the products, you need to set up the payroll, you need to like track whether you launched it properly, you need to finish it and all this stuff. So it took a lot of time to make an effort. And it's okay if you have one app and one placement, that's pretty fine. But if you have many placements, or you have many apps with many placements, it becomes a pain point, and it's really hard to track all of it, and it's really hard to understand what's happening everywhere, and to make it a disciplined process. So this kind of like ideas and these problems I heard from users led me to a conclusion that we really need to assist them with this process, and to give them the opportunity to grow without spending lots of resources. So my idea is to kind of like let customers delegate me the paywall problem, the paywall as a mechanism, while the mobile app owner can focus on the product, on improving the features and building new ones, on the acquisition of new customers, on the marketing and all this stuff. And for example, on the fundraising or any other goal they're having at the moment. So I want to build a product that really makes you not to think about the paywalls and all, and just to really check that, okay, let's use this idea, let's run it, let's see the results, and let's see what to do next. And that's where we are growing at the moment. We now build the first version, and now we are talking to users. Now we are trying to listen to the feedback and to understand what to improve, where to go next, and how we can help customers to do the experimentation something easy for them and something that happens all the time. That, as I've said, there is always at least one A/B test active in your mobile app. And that's the goal of the Autopilot, the product I'm building. And now I think it's the time to show you the demo. So the version we've built, the version which is now active and live for everyone. It's important to say that we are keeping improving it all the time. Every day we're adding something new, and we plan to expand to more amount of features, more amount of countries we will cover. And this is a product that we think has like big future in terms of like really assisting our customers to grow and improve their metrics. So that's why it's a kind of like a recommendation or advice to check the Autopilot updates when they're live, and to check the hypothesis it provides for you, and really not forget that experimentation is important, and that's why we build it. So I'm just gonna reshare this presentation to the demo, and it will be way easier for me to provide you what I want to show. And I think it's located here, right? Yeah, this one. And what happens now is that I've just opened a demo app inside of Adapty. It's located, the Autopilot is located in the A/B test section. And here, let me just show it to you. So we have the regular tabs, and here we have the analysis and reports. And over there, the Autopilot is located. And what it does initially, it makes an analysis of your app, analysis of the market, of the competitors and the benchmarks, and then compares your app to the market. And based on that, our algorithm understands whether do we need to improve and increase the prices, or do we need to decrease them? Do we need to add the new duration, or maybe we need to add the trial or something like that? So based on what happens on the market and based on your metrics of your app, we give the recommendations of what should be tested, and just try to really solve the problem of coming up with the ideas of what you should do at the moment. And let's go to the quick demo of the Autopilot. So in the beginning, we choose the kind of like main placement, which brings the most of the money for your app. For this particular app, it's the onboarding paywalls placement. And after that, we go to the analysis of it. And what will happen here is that we just understand the main paywall of your placement, and we just detect which products are happening on this paywall, and which products of them are actually seen. And also in the bottom, you can see the conversion metrics of your paywall. And in the future, we'll add more data here, so it will be easier for you to understand the like overall situation of the app. And then with this like snapshot of your app, there is like not something very insightful, but just like a reminder of what happens on your paywall. We proceed to the competitors research, and over there, our algorithm it detects who are your competitors. And sometimes we hit this like kind of like bar, and we understand your competitors very good. Sometimes we don't. So for this reason, we provided an opportunity to change them. If, for example, for sure, I know that this app is not that insightful for me because they're smaller than I am, and I don't want to be like getting any insights from their monetization strategy. I can just simply remove it. And for example, let's do the same with the Boost Camp app. And we can also add others if we have any like idea. So we can just like add any competitors. I know that these competitors are pretty good, and they are like doing the same as I do in terms of the product, in terms of the marketing, in terms of like the size of me, and I just want to understand how they operate. So we just get the competitors, we provide the list which like is suitable for us and looks like something good, and then we can go to the report generation. And what happens here is that we get a kind of like a snapshot of the apps. And as you remember, we had the weekly and the monthly subscriptions in our paywall, in our app. And here we can see that, okay, not many apps in this market provide the weekly, only one app. And regarding the monthly, for example, lots of apps do it, but we can see that the average is a little bit higher than we are operating. And also in the like table below, it's seen very well that, okay, lots of them are operating on the monthly, and also lots of them are doing the annual subscriptions, while we are not doing the annual one, and we're doing only the weekly. So there is already a couple of like hypotheses coming up to my mind, whether what we can try out and what's good and what's not. And also the same happens with the free trial. So we can see how the free trial is working on this market. For example, many apps are offering the trial for the annual subscription, which is a good practice in the health and fitness apps. And this is something interesting to think about, because here we provide it for different subscriptions. And also, so this is kind of like the competitor research and the overview of the market. We grab the prices from the only on the states market. So that's the like the view on the states prices, just like for us to understand. And it's worth mentioning that we never use any Adapty customers data to provide something over here. So it's super like super safe in this topic, that we never take anything in terms of like the prices from the internal data of Adapty. So this is taken from the third party. So we are not using any Adapty's data, which is important to highlight. And there we got the idea of, okay, what's happening on the market. But then on the bottom, there is also kind of like industry benchmarks, we're calling it section. And how we can reuse it is that we see the apps in category health and fitness and the subcategory workout inside of Adapty, and we grab the like big data, anonymize all these apps, and we just like see what is the average of the apps inside of Adapty in terms of the conversions. So for example, many of them on average have 7% from views to trial, while our app has only 5. And the same happens with the trial to paid. So most apps in the market, they have 33%, while we have only 28. So this is something also to think about, because either be a very big difference, it means that we are probably overpricing, right? But here it's more or less equal, and it means that maybe we still have some like potential for the uplift, for the price change. And on the other hand, it can be like very big compared to the average in the market, and it means that we can really make very bold steps. We can really make very big changes in terms of the pricing, and not be scared that we will lose the conversion, because we will be equal with the benchmarks, most likely. So that's the idea combined. So we understand what's happening on the market, and also we understand where are we at the market, right? Can we afford any changes, or we are like in the bad position over here? And after this analysis, what happens is that our algorithm kind of like consumes this data and gives the recommendations of what should be done. The recommendations we do, they are based on the kind of like hypothesis base, is that we never know whether we would work out or we don't, but according to our data, according to our algorithm, most likely it should. And to find out, you really need to try. And that's why we give the kind of like recommendations in terms of rounds. I think in the future we will like remove the round as an entity, but right now, yeah, it's called like rounds. And in each round, we give you one particular idea of what you should test. So here, if you go to the recommendations, the first idea is to change the monthly price. So here we can see the hypothesis of it, because the conversion rate is lower, but as we saw, it's not like that low, right? We're still more or less in the middle of this. And the product price about the same, but a little bit lower than the average of the competitors. Therefore, the hypothesis is to try increasing the price for the monthly product, the one we're having at the moment. And the idea here is just keep the weekly as it is. So the weekly price, the weekly like duration remains the same, but we suggest to try to increase the monthly product because we see that there is some potential and maybe we will get the better result if we do it. So the algorithm here suggests to try out the new monthly price, and the idea in this flow is that we simplify the way you test your idea. So we give you the recommendation that, okay, you need to try out the new monthly product. And from here, straight from the Autopilot, you can create this product. We recently launched a new feature that you can now push product to stores. So from here, you can really choose the access level ID of yours, and then you can proceed. I think we can even do it. Let's try it out. And then you can proceed to the App Store tab. For this demo app, we have doesn't have it connected, but still. And if you have the App Store Connect API key connected, then you can push this product straight to the App Store Connect without going there and creating it manual and then adding it back to Adapty. So now it's like super streamlined. So we've created a product in Adapty, and from here it can be automatically pushed to the App Store Connect, and you can just pass the review, get this product created, and it can be used from here, and it will be like automatically already added in Adaptive. I think it's a super time-saving thing, and I really hope that it will have lots of apps to make the pricing experiments way faster. And what happens next is that you really need to duplicate the current paywall you're having. So we duplicate the paywall over here, just as an example, right? So, and there you place a new product that we have just created, right? So this one, the monthly 19.99, and then you create this new paywall, the copy of the previous paywall you had, and then you just launch an A/B test where you had your existing paywall at the moment and the new paywall we've just duplicated and added a new product to. And you can run A/B tests straight from here. So you just choose the new paywall you've created and you run the A/B test. So you just got the hypothesis, the idea, you create a product, you create the paywall, and you run the A/B test. 3 simple steps to make your like life in terms of the experimentation easier and faster. And that's not where we stop, because yeah, you launched an A/B test, but you want to go more, right? You want to get the next steps. And that's why first thing is that in the nearest future, we will add more recommendations on how to read the A/B test results, how to understand who is the winner properly. Then we have the other recommendations, right? So here, for example, in the second round, and the second hypothesis is to try out the increasing the weekly product over there, just because we see that, okay, we have the price lower than the competitors because the competitors had the higher weekly price, and also the conversion rate is lower, but as we understood, it's not that well. And it gives us an opportunity also to try out to increase the weekly product, because maybe there is some potential to get a great result for us. So what happens here is that we don't know who won the previous A/B test, right? That's why you need to like understand who won the first round after we launched it, and then just like reuse the monthly price, because it could be either the $16 that was before or the $20 that we recommended. And you just like used the price from the previous round and set up a new A/B test with the same process, right? Again, so you just duplicate the paywall of yours, you set up a new price, and you like compare it with the winner of the round 1 with this new price. And thus you try to understand who is better. And the process is pretty streamlined, going the same. And on the third round, for example, we tell you that, okay, maybe we try out the prices, but it looks like it's a good idea to have the annual plan, because as you remember, there was a lot of like annuals on the competitors, and it looks like it's a good idea to try out. So our algorithm recommends to try the annual, and you can also like reuse the prices of the winners from previous rounds and then add the annual. And thus you can understand either, is this paywall performing better? Can you get the better conversions? Can you get the better OTVs, or you don't? And thus you can also understand by doing this test. And the idea is pretty the same, right? So you create a new product, you create a new paywall, and you launch the A/B test. And for now, as you can see, we have only like three recommendations here, but more to come, right? So there will be more recommendations in terms of like the duration testing, right? Because we can also check here to remove the weekly, for example, if it's not popular, because it's not popular. Then we will add the recommendations on the trial if it's appropriate, right? Because here we already have the trial. But for example, maybe it's a good idea to decrease the trial duration. So try it out not 7 days, but 3 days. And then in the future, we plan to add more functionality like giving you the visual ideas, right? To whether what you should try out in terms of like the visuals. Is it like the free trial toggle or the arrow or the cross button and all this stuff? And same with the geo pricing. So everything I've told in the presentation before, we want to add here, so it will be possible for you to get the like kind of like infinite amount of hypotheses, but they won't be just like random. They will be based on the real knowledge of how it should work and how we can get the best uplift for your app. So that's where we want to go, and that's what's already live. And every app can get the analysis and get the recommendation and launch their first A/B test straight from the Autopilot. So my idea was to really give more hypotheses to people and to make the process of launching the A/B test as smooth as possible and as easy as possible. And that's where we're trying to go, and that's what we're trying to achieve. So I think the idea I wanted to share to you behind the Autopilot looks like that. So my like comment here is that really stay tuned. There will be more to come, and more things are like going to be released in the nearest future, and we will just keep updating you what's coming, how to use it, and if there will be any like I don't know questions or concerns and stuff. I'm also very interested to hear. You can like afterwards contact me or through any other option inside of Adapty. It will be possible to do, and we will just talk and find out the best solution. So I think that's the end from of the demo. I think that's everything I wanted to show you. And here I'm making a quick change from one screen to another one more time. And I think we, let me find it. Yeah, I got it. And I think it's a stop from my time. Yeah, just a quick pause. If you have any interest in Autopilot and learning more about that and trying out for your app, with this QR code, you can go and then leave your contact, and we will tell you everything about the Autopilot, where to find it, how it works. And if you're already an Adapty customer, it's available in your dashboard. You just can go to the A/B test tab and you find the Autopilot info. So that's it from my side. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you, Maxime. That was really interesting. So at the moment, I do have some questions for you. And so, all right, guys. So we start the Q&A session. So if you guys have any questions to Maxime regarding the product, regarding the webinar, any questions, you can leave them in the chat and I'll ask Maxime all of these questions. As for now, just to make sure, this is not staged. That's my first time hearing about the autopilot, and I wanted to clear some things out. So, like the first questions, I think the first and the most important question, if someone wants to start working with the autopilot, if someone wants to start running the experiments tomorrow, what's the first thing to do? What are the steps to, start doing it?
Yeah. If you talk about the Autopilot itself, you really don't need anything specific, right? What you need to do is clean Adapty account and an app added to the Adapty, and at least $1 of revenue for your app. And if you do have it, you can just go to the Autopilot and get the analysis and get the like list of recommendations for you. And I think that's the idea of it, to make it like available to the most apps. And I don't think that there are like any prerequisites needed to start this process. So yeah, the idea is to really go to use it straight away. And I think in the future we will add an option to get the analysis even if you are not an Adapty client. So it will be possible for you to get some like insights, but then you continue getting them inside of Adapty. So that's the idea.
All right. All right. Sounds good. I think we have one question from Igor. He asks, how can I test if I have a store kit external payment?
Uh, that's a good question. I think for now, if you have a store kit, but uh, cool. The external payment of yours, are if you're talking about the web paywalls, so like when you're pushing someone to the web paywalls in Adapty, uh, I think for now, the Autopilot won't be working because we're not supporting the web paywalls. But if you have the regular products added to your paywall and you have tracked revenue from them, then it's totally possible. So it just depends on the way you're doing it. But for now, I think if you have only the web paywall set and you have the products in Stripe, for example, right? Then it will be not possible to use. But as I've just said to Andre, I think in January, let's say, it will be possible to use it even if you have the external payment. You just add the information of which products do you have, and then get the analysis and the hypothesis for you. So you should try out for your app, but it's essential to have some revenue coming for the products inside of Adapty.
All right. All right. Thank you. I have one more question from another Igor. So the question is, I currently have a paywall with yearly plus weekly subscriptions, and I'm going to A/B test quarterly plus weekly subscription. Can I write a 12-week subscription on a quarter plan? Is it allowed by Apple guidelines?
Uh, that's a good one. I would say that it's But I would say that I have never seen someone writing like a 12-week subscription in the quarterly duration type of subscription, right? But so far I know it may be okay with the Apple. Sometimes they ban such approach when you kind of like mislead the user, but sometimes it works fine. So Apple may be not happy with this, and you need to test it like be very accurate with that and be careful. But there is like, let's say, I don't know, 40 to 60 chance that it will be that it will be fine. But if you have such idea, you can try out. It's not like banned immediately in terms of like it won't be possible, and there is a chance that it will be working fine, but just be careful and expect that there is some potential that it won't be allowed. Uh, yeah, for sure. And you can also make, I think what you can do is that you can do the same trick that is usually done with the yearly, is that you call it a quarterly one, but on the bottom of it, on the second line, you write the price per 1 week. So, right, if you have 1 week for, let's say, $10, just for easier, for have it easier, right? And you have the quarter for, I don't know, let's say $21, you just write that, okay, 1 week costs 10, but in the quarter version, the 1 week costs 7. And it will be okay for sure for Apple because like everybody does it, and it's a good trick for the customer, and thinks like, okay, $7 versus 10, maybe I should acquire 7, and this may work even better. The overall command is that to make sure that you really want to try out the quarterly subscription because it's not that widely used, and I don't know the market of yours, what you're having, which category, but just make sure that it's really in the market, right? That it's really widely used and it's kind of like popular. Because if nobody uses the quarterly, maybe it's a sign that they either tried or there is something wrong with it. So it's a good idea to test, but make sure that you're like really in a good way, or you have tried all the other options already. I don't know, let's say the yearly, right? The maybe even the lifetime and all the other ones on the market. So I think I would say this comments for your case, and that's what I do. But it's very good that you're doing the experimentation. I think it's the best way for you to grow. So I will be very curious to hear how it will go. Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. Cool. Thank you, both of you, Gors, for the questions.
Right. So I do have some more questions. So like, how can a team understand whether their paywall has hidden revenue upside?
Uh, I think the best the best way for me, for example, is that I do have kind of I don't know, sense of what's working and what's not, because I've seen thousands of paywalls live in different in many apps, because I was helping with the paywall builder in Adapty, and also I've just like talked to lots of our users. So I have the sense that I see whether will paywall work well or it won't. But for example, if a user or like mobile app owner doesn't have this that much, then I think the easiest way is to again check the competitors to understand whether are you in the track, are you aligned with what's happening on the market, and then is to really see whether does it use any of modern mechanisms that is popular in the market, right? The ones we've discussed today, the free trial toggle, the reviews, the free trial description of how the free trial will operate if you have it like for 7 days. Like on the third day, there will be a notification that it's ending soon. On the fifth day, there will be like one more, blah, blah, blah. There is like a very popular type of paywall for this. So I think that's also important to check, is your paywall like modern? Is your paywall not old school? And does it look good? And does it use great mechanics? And the third way is about the prices, right? So you just like try to think critically. If you have, let's say, a week for 7 and a month for 12, it's bad, right? Because the difference is too small. Most likely you just like lose revenue because of it. Because I think people will be buying months for 12, but you really gave them the access for your app for $12, while we can have months for, let's say, 20, and then you just have more users buying weekly with the prolongation, and most likely we have the higher OTV over there. So it's important to think critically when you see a paywall. Just try to understand, is the difference between the prices good, and is the combination even has sense, right? Because if you have, I don't know, let's say months and 3 months and 1 year, it's a very rare combination in the market. Most likely there is something wrong. So yeah, critical thinking and like having a sense of what's good and what's not. I think it's the best way to really make conclusions of what to change and what's is not right at the moment.
Yeah, that makes sense. I have like a general question though. Like, could you cover the question like what are the most common mistakes when it comes to, A/B testing manually? When we run A/B test manually, what are the like most common
Mhm.
mistakes that people do?
Yeah, I think the first one, the ones we kind of like covered today, is stopping an A/B test early, just because really users wait for 3 days or 7 days just because they want to stop it as soon as possible and to really make a decision. But they do have 20 subscriptions, right? And it's very no good to make a decision based on that. So the first one is to stop A/B test early, uh, and the second one, I think, is to is to try to make the go this country pricing mechanism too early too. I have lots of clients who are making the country pricing in the beginning, and after that, it's very hard to understand and make any conclusions, because in the US they have $10, in Germany they have €7, in I don't know, India they have like three, but in Canada 15. And after that, the analytics is wrong, just because it's not telling you the correct data in terms of like you cannot You cannot compare properly. You just need to be very careful with that after that. And I think that touching country pricing is very important only when you're eligible for it and when you already more or less know the combination of yours or the like understanding that you have good traffic. So I think that's the second mistake, and the third is to be scared of testing the prices because lots of mobile app owners they test the visuals, right? They test the pictures, they test the text on the paywalls, but they don't touch the prices because they're scared that it will ruin their revenue or like drop make a significant drop or something like that. But as we talk today, the growth is hidden in the risks you're taking, right? So the more you experiment, the more you make changes in the prices, the more results you will receive. So it's very, very important to not be scared of these steps and to really, if you have like $15 and the market says that you need to increase. Why not? Try it for 2 weeks and make a decision. Okay, I should remain on the $15 or I can increase and get more money. And it happens with everything, with the durations, with the free trials and all this stuff. So I think like, yeah, that people are scared, and that's the biggest problem of A/B testing, that you're like not testing the right things. You're testing something that is very easy and not that risky.
Yeah, I think it's a touch and a sensitive thing to do, but like how safe it is to, do the pricing experiments.
Uh-huh.
You said there is a risk, but like how safe it is for us to do those experiments.
Yeah. I would say that there is no like clean information or clean data on that, but let's say that every 1 out of 5 from 1 out of 5 to 1 out of 10 experiments are successful. So it's totally fine for you to receive the results which are not winning, right? And it's totally okay to go with this like ladder of the A/B testing and get the results from each one and proceed to the next one. So it's the idea is that if one A/B test shows you not the best results, it's totally fine because if you do it constantly, you will win in the long run. I don't know, the same with the sport or like with any other approach, right? So it happens the same over here. So I'm pretty confident that it's very safe if you do it constantly for every 2, 3 weeks in the period of like half a year, you will get to the higher point for sure. But at the moment, like in any particular moment, you may feel that okay, my A/B test is losing, something is going wrong and stuff. But it doesn't mean that it's not safe. It's very useful and it brings the best results for your app, and you just need to be very disciplined about that. So it's safe. It's okay if something is not winning. That's why you do the experiments. The most important is just to make a conclusion out of it and reuse it and run the next test.
All right, sounds good. So the consistency is the key.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
All right, all right. One more question, like, can you show like a use case or like an example on how Autopilot can, change the outcomes for the app? Like, are there any use cases or
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one because we are now preparing a case which will be launched pretty soon of an app which received a very great uplift with the Autopilot algorithm, and they were giving a couple of recommendations starting from the price increase to the adding a new duration, and at the end, the guys they received, if I'm not mistaken, 30% uplift of the MRR in just 3 months. They were like the very beta testers of the Autopilot, and they got this uplift, and they're super happy with that because the MRR grew, the RPU also grew, and they are now continually testing it because they were also in the phase when they were scared of doing the pricing tests, and the Autopilot like showed them that it's not that scary and they need to like try and start doing that, and that's why they got this result, and now they are like on this consistent path and continue doing it. So yeah, I have a case with the growth for almost like 30% in just 3 months with the constant changing of prices of durations, and I think it looks as a very good case for other apps to really also try and change the monetization strategy of theirs.
All right. All right. Sounds good. So I have one last questions, and I think we can wrap it up after that. So what should current users expect from an autopilot, or like the users who wants to join the autopilot? What are the next steps for the autopilot? What we can expect from it?
Yeah, I think I just touched it a little. So the idea is to give you more hypotheses, just for you to get like bigger picture of what you can try out, and then we plan to give you more hypotheses about the countries, right? Because we see lots of apps which are having really revenue coming not from the states, not only from the states, and that's why we need to provide the accurate ideas, accurate hypotheses which are applicable for the other countries. So that's where we're going to go, and really give you the ideas of what you can try and what you should try, and how to get the best results. And then in the parallel with that, we also plan to give you the visual recommendations, right? It's the one I talked today. So if you're having bad trial conversion to trial, maybe you really need to try the free trial toggle or the trial discount or something like that. So we plan to give you more hypotheses in any way. So your goal is just to really launch them and see how it goes. And that's the idea, just to like really remove the pain from the mobile app owner on what to test and why. And we just want to provide it on our site while you do the work you do the best, the improving the product, doing the marketing, and all the other things. So that's the idea, and that's our plans in the nearest future.
All right. Well, that sounds good. That sounds really good. All right, guys. So I think that's pretty much it. I don't think that we have any more questions in the Q&A session or in the chat. So as I've said, once again, guys, thank you all for coming and joining us today. It was really nice to hear you, Maxim. Thank you. And as I've said before, the recording of this webinar will be sent to you tomorrow. So don't worry if you guys missed anything. It's all good. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much, Andre. Thank you for hosting and for the questions. And I hope we will have some more webinars coming up next year.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
See you. Thanks. Bye bye.